A very pleasant good evening and welcome to CHO Airport Field here in Charlottesville, Virginia for another edition of Tom Sox Baseball. My name is Luke Ned Carney, joined tonight by Nathan Schwartz. And Nathan, Tom Sox and the Harrisonburg Turks tonight, they've met twice already this season, have split the two meetings. What's it going to take for the Tom Sox to get ahead in the season series tonight?
I think it's going to have to be a lot of what the Tom Sox did when they traveled to James Madison University last Friday night to take on the Turks, and that was break out the bats. And that's kind of been an up and down problem for the Tom Sox this season. The bats have been cold here at home, only 2 runs in that first game against the Turks here at CHO Airport Field. So the bats are going to have to come out big, and they're going to have to come out early in the game.
Tom Sox snapped a 3-game losing streak with a win over the mountain at Waynesboro last night. They continue to be road warriors as Lyndon Coleman's club takes their home field here in their white pinstriped uniforms with the white caps, navy blue bills, and blue numerals on the front, blue Tom Sox script on the front with green numerals, and then blue numerals on the back of the jerseys. Harrisonburg, new uniforms this season. They've got the gray uniforms for the road with white pants and red socks. They used to wear the red or the blue depending on whether they were at home or away. Coming into this game with a record of 7-4. The Turks lineup looks like this. Aiden Alexander leads things off. He's in center field. Cam Harris is the second baseman, and he bats second. Micah Morgan in right field bats third, followed by the cleanup man, Jason Torres. He is the third baseman. Ben Barrett, the first baseman, bats fifth, and batting sixth, the designated hitter, Trent Corrali. 7, 8, and 9 for the Turks. Sean Barnett, the left fielder, Matthew Delgado, the catcher, and Jose Perez, the shortstop. That's the defense behind Robert Kelly, the pitcher tonight for the Turks. And the Tom Sox defense out in the field with the left-hander Zach Root on the mound throwing his warm-up tosses to catcher Salvi Alvarez. Left to right around the outfield, David Wiley, Sergio Rivera, Brady Gumpf. And in the infield, Kyle Edwards slides over to third base tonight. Adam Boucher, his college teammate from Old Dominion, is at short. Bryce Martinez, the second baseman for the Tom Sox. And Connor Hinks is at first tonight, so we've seen him at third and now at first for Lyndon Coleman's club. Derek Williams is the designated hitter for the Tom Sox. We'll have their batting order in the bottom half of the inning, but great night for baseball here, Nathan. Really, really nice. A little bit warm, but it'll cool off as the night goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. Great night for baseball and a great night for Zach Root to make his Tom Sox debut. The sophomore right-hander out of Mechanicsville from East Carolina, pitched in the Charlottesville Regional just last week, was a 2023 AAC All-Freshman Team nominee, went 53 and 2/3 innings with the Pirates this season. He made 13 starts and had an ERA just north of 5, so plenty of experience this season in his freshman campaign at ECU, looking to add some stability to this starting rotation for Charlottesville.
And the Tom Sox logo is in the lime there behind the catcher's box where the umpire is standing. A nice touch from this grounds crew today as Aiden Alexander digs in. And we're just about ready to go here from CHO Airport Field. Lefty on righty matchup. Zach Root winds, delivers, and a swing and a miss on the first pitch, 0-1.
Going to be big for Root to get ahead of hitters early, and he does the golden rule, get that first pitch strike right here for batter number 1.
Native of Fort Myers, Florida, the kick, the delivery. This is a fastball, and it catches the outside corner for strike 2. Alexander out of Oklahoma City University, native of El Reno, Oklahoma. Facing an 0-2 count. The windup, the delivery from Root, right down the middle, called third strike. And you couldn't think of a better possible start if you're Lyndon Coleman and the Tom Sox.
Start out with the heater on the outside, bring a little bit of the change of speed on that second pitch, and then show your slider on pitch number 3 right down the middle. Started on that outside corner of the plate, broke right in. And like you said, Luke, couldn't think of a better start, 1, 2, 3, to start things off.
That'll bring out Cameron Harris, the second baseman, out of Wingate University, just outside Charlotte. And a curveball starts this at-bat in a lefty-on-lefty matchup, and it's called strike 1. Micah Morgan, the 3-hole hitter, on deck for the Turks. Second batter of the ballgame here at CHO Airport Field. Root delivers, and it's the first ball of the evening just upstairs on another curve.
Cam Harris, riding a 7-game hitting streak for this Turks team. He's appeared in both games against Charlottesville as well, going 1 for 8 with a double.
Tom Sox record 6-5. 1 game behind the Turks in the standings. New this year, no more divisions. These two teams used to be South Division rivals as time called, and now we're ready for the delivery. Root shakes his shoulders, winds up, fires the 1-1. That is off the ankle of the batter, and he'll take a second to walk that one off.
Gotta be one of the worst feelings in the game when you foul a ball off the foot, especially no leg guard there.
Yeah, I
for
noticed
Harris.
that. Looks to be okay, and he'll dig in for the 1-2. Tom Sox looking to start a new win streak. Ended a 3-game losing streak in Waynesboro last night. Root shakes off a sign from Alvarez. Now he takes one. The 1-2 delivery. This one is hit well into right field. Going back and looking up is Brady Gumpf. And at the wall, he puts his glove over his shoulder and hauls it in, 2 away.
Wanted to go to the slider there on the 2-strike pitch. Shook Salvi Alvarez off 3 times before settling on that pitch. And Harris gave it a ride, but good positioning out there by Gumpf. Took a little bit of a different angle to the ball. Did some backpedaling and a spin, but got into the glove for the second out.
As long as it lands there, there's no real wind to speak of here at CHO Airport Field right now in this top of the first. As digging in is Micah Morgan, the right fielder. Another lefty-on-lefty matchup, and that ball misses outside.
Morgan's been on an absolute tear so far this season for the Turks. 3 for 8 with a double and an RBI triple against the Tom Sox this year on a 9-game hitting streak.
Out of South Alabama, he looks at the 1-0 down and out, and it's 2-0. First time Root has been this far behind a batter. First time he's been behind a batter all night.
And for Morgan, he's only played in 9 games this season with Harrisonburg, so he's gotten a hit in each of those 9 games and has a double in 6 consecutive.
The 2-0, fouled back, and it'll be 2-1. Clouds covering the sun right now, so no shadows on the field or anything. No rain in the forecast. 2-1 the count. The kick, the delivery, curveball stays upstairs. Now it's 3-1.
First time we've seen really at the comeback, work deep into a count so far in this first inning. He did a good job getting ahead on Alexander to begin things. A little bit of trouble with Harrison that second at bat. Gonna have to throw the ball and challenge Morgan here on this 3-1.
Lefty on lefty. That one is hit solidly into right field, and it's going to get down in front of Gumpf, who plays it on the hop wisely, and it'll be a 2-out single, our first hit of tonight's ball game.
Just said he's got to challenge Morgan. He did. He threw the changeup on the inner half of the plate, and Morgan able to get the barrel around the baseball and drive it into right field, extending that hitting streak up to 10.
Double digits now for Micah Morgan. Job well done. He gets it out of the way early. If you have a hit streak going, you definitely want to get it out of the way in that first at-bat. That'll bring up the cleanup man, Jason Torres, who's out of the University of Miami. So a power conference player here for Harrisonburg. First pitch is inside, ball 1. Torres at third base tonight out of Hialeah, Florida, so he doesn't have to go far to play his college ball. Hurricanes eliminated from the NCAA tournament by Texas in the Coral Gables Regional. The 1-0. This is a swing and a sharp hit into left center field that's going to get down for a base hit, maybe more. The runner, Morgan, touches second and comes over to third. And Torres will stay at first as it's a 2-out single. Turks now have first and third, threatening here early.
And a subtle play there for the Tom Sox. Won't get noticed a lot of the time. Throwing that ball into second base. If they throw that ball to third, Torres likely is able to take second base and put 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out for one of the hotter hitters in the lineup in Ben Barrett, but instead he keep those runners on the corners.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you have a force play if you get a ground ball towards second base, too, to possibly get out of the inning in a lefty-on-righty matchup for the first baseman, Barrett. He takes the ball upstairs. They've got Barrett at first and Barnett in left. Ben Barrett out of Florida State University, which a rare occurrence, did not make the NCAA tournament this season. First time since before you and I were born.
Oh, yeah.
The 1-0, swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch in the dirt. Good job there by Root. Sometimes it's just that one, you got to get that one strike, and then you can get your control back.
It seems like that slider's been his get-me-over pitch so far tonight. Went to it there on the 1-0 and got a big swing and a miss.
The Orlando native bats from the right side with runners on first and third, 2 away. Curveball upstairs. Trent Corrali, the DH, would be next. From the stretch, 2-1 pitch upcoming in the scoreless top of the first. Golfed at and hit foul out of play. That'll get away over the batting cage.
Root's gone down and in, down and out. Probably going to see another pitch on that outside part of the plate, whether it's that slider or that fastball. He's been staying away from the heater a little bit here over the last couple batters. See if he goes back to it here on the even count.
The kick, the 2-2, that is on the outside corner, but they rule it just missed, and its count goes full. Good call there, Nathan.
And then full count, all your pitches at your disposal here. Don't want to have Barrett sitting on a pitch with a base empty. Walk, not the worst thing in the world, but also punch out would be huge.
Torres will get a head start from first here. There he goes. And it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So a good job there by Zach Root to come with the off-speed pitch and strand 2 Harrisonburg runners on base. 0-0, Tom Sox will come to bat for the first time here in tonight's game when we return to CHO Airport Field. This is Tom Sox TV. Zero zero our score as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Luke Naggarney, Nathan Schwartz here with you. Tom Sox coming to bat for the first time this evening with a batting order that looks like this. Sergio Rivera in center field leads off, followed by the first baseman, Connor Hinks. Derek Williams, the designated hitter, bats third, and in the cleanup spot, shortstop Adam Boucher. Bryce Martinez, the second baseman, bats fifth, followed by David Wiley in left field. 7, 8, 9 for the Tom Sox, Brady Gumpf, Salvi Alvarez, and Kyle Edwards, the third baseman. Facing Robert Kelly, Alex Boucher, excuse me. I cannot read my own handwriting there. Luckily, we caught that one early. As digging in for the Tom Sox, Sergio Rivera against Robert Kelly, not the former Washington football running back, but the pitcher, the right-hander out of Tennessee Wesleyan, Vienna, Virginia native. And he starts with a fastball right over for a strike.
He's been absolutely dealing so far. He's made 2 starts with the Turks so far, an ERA under 1.5 at 1.28 over 7 innings, only giving up 1 earned run on 7 hits and struck out 7 batters as well.
From the windup, righty on righty matchup upstairs on a fastball, and Sergio Rivera out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico, plays at Florida Southwestern. You'll see him on a Tom Sox weekly feature coming up. First show drops tomorrow on Tom Sox TV as the 1-1 is outside. 2-1.
Been waiting to see Sergio get bumped up in this lineup a little bit. He's been stuck in that 7-9 spot for the most part of the season so far, but now getting bumped up to the leadoff with Justin Thomas getting the night off.
The 2-1 is over the outside corner for a strike, so it's 2-2 now. Count is even. Sun has come out now here at CHO Airport Field, and the 2-2 is fouled back. We'll do it again. Sean Barnett in left, Aiden Alexander in center, Micah Morgan in right for the Harrisonburg Turks. We'll have the rest of their defense after this pitch. The 2-2. Right over the inner half. Strike 3 called, and the first inning for the Tom Sox starts just as it did for the Turks at the plate.
And it's that breaking ball right down the middle of the plate, freezing both leadoff guys. Rivera, not a guy that's been striking out a ton this year. Just his 7th strikeout in this being his 10th game. Right there, just could not see the breaking ball out of the hand and one away for Kelly.
Connor Hinks digs in. He's at first base tonight for the Tom Sox. Out of the Chicagoland area, Western Springs, Illinois, takes a ball upstairs. 1-0 the count as Kelly fires and misses high.
Connor's been one of the more consistent hitters in this Tom Sox lineup. Was 2 for 3 last night with a walk and a run scored.
The classic corner infielder. He plays third some. He's at first tonight, and he's up in the count 3-0.
Even got to start at second base last night at Waynesboro as well, so really can play all over the infield.
Might have the next Tony Perez on our hands as there's a get-me-over for a strike, 3-1.
263 average, OPS right at 800. Like I said, consistency's been the struggle for the Tom Sox so far this season, but Hinks, he's batted in the 2 spot, the 4 spot, the 5 spot. He's really been all over the order, and he's produced at each spot.
Kelly pitching like he's got a late movie to catch. That pitch fouled back, and it's now 3-2. And the 3-2 comes in and is blooped over short, and that's going to sit down for a base hit. The Tom Sox first of the game, and with one away, Hinks is on first base.
Working the count full, getting a changeup on the outside part of the plate, and hitting the end of the bat, driving it over the shortstop. That's exactly what we have to do, 2-strike approach. Just find some green in that outfield, and that's exactly what Hinks does for his 6th hit of the season.
Here comes Derek Williams, who is listed as a first baseman and an outfielder, but tonight he's only with the stick. He's the designated hitter. And he swings at the first pitch and hits it on the ground, gobbled up by a diving third baseman, Jason Torres, and he does good to get the force out at second. Nice play there for the Turks.
Absolutely. I thought the only play was going to be at first base, but Torres goes to second base. Not a lot of speed with Hinks right there at first. Also might have not gotten the best jump, but now setting up the same situation, 2 out for Boucher.
So 5-4 on the put out there, and Alex Boucher, Adam Boucher, is a pitcher for Duke who was here for the Charlottesville Super Regional last week. Alex Boucher plays at Old Dominion, and he is ahead 1-0 in the count now after taking that pitch in the dirt. And he's at short tonight next to his college teammate Kyle Edwards, who is at third. The 1-0 is hit off the end of the bat, foul out of play. Boucher, a native of Norfolk, Virginia, so plays right in his backyard for college, as does Kyle Edwards, who's from Chesapeake. The 1-1. Nice-looking slider, and it catches the outer half, strike 2.
Alex, big freshman season with ODU, 299 average, slugged 527, hit 11 balls out of the ballpark.
2 away, runner on first. The 1-2 is hit in the air, right field, not deep. And stopping in his tracks and making the grab is Micah Morgan. So the Tom Sox get a hit, but they can't get him around. So 0-0 after one complete inning here at CHO Airport Field. Turks coming to the bat for the top of the second. This is Tom Sox TV. To the top of the second we go. Tom Sox 0, Turks 0. Tonight's game brought to you by State Farm agent Gary Albert. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Albert's daughter threw out the first pitch before the game, as the Turks coming to bat for inning number 2. And they've got a couple men on, Nathan, but unable to bring them around in that first inning. Good bounce back by Zach Root.
Yeah, it's really similar to what the Tom Sox were able to do against the Generals last night up in Waynesboro, limiting the damage, something that the bullpen has struggled with at times this year. But a good job there by Root to start. Mentioned in the pregame, has the experience this year with ECU, so runners on the corners with 2 out did not phase him.
Turks will have their DH leading things off. It'll be 6, 7, 8 here in the top of the second. Trent Corrali, also out of Oklahoma City University, native of Farmington, New Mexico. 2 hits for Harrisonburg in the first inning, 1 for the Tom Sox. Nobody came around. And Zach Root from the windup in a lefty-on-righty matchup sees the first pitch skied foul over the Tom Sox dugout, 0-1.
Crowley, he's had some problems with the strikeouts so far this season. He struck out in the last 8 games.
From the windup, Root delivers, and that one is outside for ball 1. Turks 1 game ahead of the Tom Sox currently in the league standings at 7-4. Tom Sox 6-5. The 1-1 hit again out of play down the right side, and it's 1-2.
But Corrali, a guy, strikeout guy, but also will get on base. 340 on base to begin this season. 3 walks and a hit by pitch in his 2 appearances against the Tom Sox so far this year.
Root kicks, fires, and that one stays outside as well. Outfielders straight away for the righty on lefty matchup. Root brings the 2-2, and count runs full as that one stays up and out as well.
Sometimes it seems like Root's fallen off of that mound towards the left-hand side, first base side rather.
He takes a breath, brings his glove up, and now delivers the payoff with nobody out and the base is empty. And that one is hit off the fists on the ground, several hops, and into the glove of the second baseman, Bryce Martinez, whose throw is wide to first base, but Connor Hinks, a good enough job there to put the tag on, and there's one away.
It seemed like a routine play originally, didn't it, Luke? But Martinez just a little too far arm side on the throw, kind of tailed away from him like a 2-seam fastball, but Hinks able to be agile, move off the bag, and apply the tag just in time.
I think he thought he had less time than he actually did because that ball was hit off the fists, but all the same, it's the first out of the inning. And Sean Barnett, the left fielder, digs in. As I said in the first inning, we got Barnett and Barrett here in this lineup for Harrisonburg, and he looks at the first pitch inside, 1-0. One out here in the top of the second. 0-0 our score as 1-0 is hit foul past the catcher. It's 1-1.
Barnett continuing to get ABs so far this season in the Valley League. 7 games played, 136 average, just 3 for 22, 1 for 8 against the Tom Sox, though. So he's gotten stacked at bats against these Tom Sox pitchers, probably why he's back in the lineup tonight.
He's out of St. Peter's, Missouri, and he hits this one sharply but foul. Plays at Wingate University as well. St. Peter's just outside St. Louis, northwestern suburb, facing a 1-2 count. Leadoff man Corrali retired on a 4-3 ground out, and the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And the Tom Sox, just like they did in the first inning, get the first 2 Turks batters out here in the second.
Now, a lot of the Tom Sox pitchers so far this season that we've seen have been contact guys. A lot of ground balls, a lot of fly balls. But Root's showing right off the bat, he's got the strikeout stuff, the put-away stuff, a 4-pitch mix to put down this Turks lineup. The most strikeout stuff I've seen since Jarvis Evans had his 2 appearances before getting shut down and sent back to school.
Catcher Matthew Delgado digs in, and he swings and misses at the first pitch. He goes without the batting gloves, Moises Alou style.
Old school.
Now Root brings the 0-1, and that one is at the knees for strike 2. And to your point, Nathan, if you watched the Charlottesville Regional, which I'm sure a lot of Tom Sox fans did, you saw exactly that from Zach Root. Power pitching, strikeouts, bouncing back in that deciding game. Here's the 0-2. That one stays downstairs and bounces in the dirt, 1-2.
A lot of star power on this field right now. Both sides. Salvi Alvarez, heavily rated recruit coming out of high school behind the plate. Did not play at all this year with Florida and his team's in Omaha, but Salvi catching tonight for your Tom Sox.
The 1-2 with 2 away. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a changeup. And Zach Root sets down the Harrisonburg side in order with a pair of strikeouts. To the bottom of the second we go. Tom Sox 0, Turks 0. This is Tom Sox TV. Bottom of the second here at CHO Airport Field. Tom Sox coming to bat, looking to break this 0-0 tie against Robert Kelly of the Harrisonburg Turks. Luke Nadkarni, Nathan Schwartz here with you. And the first episode of Tom Sox Weekly comes out tomorrow right here on Tom Sox TV. What are you going to be featured in there, Nathan?
So I had to sit down with assistant coach Trey Smith. He was a player at Glenville State for the past 5 years, hit over 325 in each of those seasons, so brings a lot of pedigree on the hitting side of coaching to this Tom Sox roster. And he also coached here at Charlottesville High School this spring, so a lot of familiarities from Barbersville, from this area. So he's coming back to a familiar place and coaching. This is first time coaching at all, whether it's the collegiate level, the high school level, any level. This is first full year as a coach. I just caught up with him, talked to him about what it's been like being a coach for the Tom Sox so far and how his journey as a coach has been over this first year.
Bryce Martinez leads things off for the Tom Sox. So yeah, check that out tomorrow. That plus much more tomorrow morning on Tom Sox TV. Martinez now ahead in the count 2-1 as the 2-0 is in there for a strike. Martinez, the second baseman tonight, also without the batting gloves. And he's ahead now 3-1 as that pitch comes in high from Kelly. Tom Sox looking to get the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the second. And I'll have to wait one more pitch as that one catches the inner half for a strike.
Martinez, .294 average over just 5 games to begin the season, 5 for 17. Has driven in 5 runs and puts the ball in play quite a bit.
And he takes one off the shoulder there on what looked like a curveball that didn't really curve. And he earns his way onto first base to start this bottom of the second for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about how he puts the ball in play a lot, has an on-base of .350, only slugging .294. When he does get on base with the base hit, it's going to be a single. But this is a guy that right in the middle of the lineup, same thing as Connor Hanks. He's batted at the top of the lineup, middle of the lineup, also at the bottom of the lineup. And either way, he's been getting on base and producing, trying to continue to move station to station. That's the Lyndon Coleman way. Just find ways to manufacture runs, move runners 90 feet at a time. And
right on cue, his Wofford teammate, David Wiley, digs in and squares around to bunt, and it goes foul back to the catcher. So it's 0-1. So we'll see what the Tom Sox do here with a runner on and nobody out in this scoreless bottom of the second. Tom Sox stole 10 bases last time they took on Harrisonburg. You and Alex Rocco were on the call for that one over at JMU as the 0-1 comes in down and out, 1-1.
It's a fun call out in Harrisonburg, and it was a really good Tom Sox win.
Always more fun when we win, definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
1-1 the count. We'll keep an eye on the runner over at first, and Wiley squares around to bunt, and now the runner will get to mosey on down to second. Martinez, as that ball pops out of the mitt of the catcher Delgado. I think that's going to be a pass ball.
Pass ball, wild pitch. Always tough to tell in a situation like that. If the ball bounces, it's going to be a wild pitch 100% of the time, but they are up and in. Kind of hard to tell because obviously it's a wild delivery, but then it also went right into the glove of Delgado. So it's going to be a tough call. I would personally throw that down as a wild pitch.
Tom Sox have a man now in scoring position with nobody out as Wiley reaches for that 2-1 pitch, and it gets fouled out of play. Now the important thing becomes just getting him over to third at the very least here with less than 2 outs.
Big gap between first and second base. Just a weak ground ball to the right side might score Martinez.
2-2 the count, righty on righty matchup. From the stretch, the delivery, and this one is on the ground to short. It's hit slowly, so the only play is going to be to first. 6-3, the putout is good by Jose Perez over to Ben Barrett. But just as we were talking about, the Tom Sox move Martinez over to third and have a man 90 feet away here with less than 2 away.
Station to station baseball. That's how the Tom Sox have been putting runs on the board. Not a lot of power on this team. 3 homers, 12 doubles to begin the season thus far. A slugging percentage to just .305 as a team to begin the season, and we're a fourth of the way through this thing.
Notre Dame's Brady Gumpf digs in, the right fielder. He had a nice catch in the first inning, and he takes a strike over the outer half. Righty on righty matchup. Gumpf swings at a fastball and can't catch up at 0-2. Turks have the infield back. They will concede the run in exchange for the out here early in this ball game. The 0-2 from Kelly is lunged at and just making contact as Gumpf staying alive.
Gumpf really hasn't had a whole lot of ABs. Appeared in just 3 games this season, .083 average, just 1 for 12 with an RBI.
Another 0-2 pitch with a man on third and 1 away. It's up at the eyeballs of Gumpf, and it's 1-2. Gumpf with that golden dome on his head, representing Notre Dame. The 1-2 from Kelly is tomahawked into the air, but that's going to get out of play.
I don't know how he was able to get his hands up to eye level, essentially, and hit that ball foul, but however you can keep the at-bat alive.
Martinez 90 feet away from scoring the game's first run as Gumpf. Brave take there, and that one looks like a little low and outside. Count is even 2-2. Both bullpens quiet. No score here in the bottom of the second. Tom Sox threatening. From the windup, the 2-2 from Kelly is hit high in the air, short center field. Let's see if this is deep enough to get the run home. I'm not sure. The catch is made by Aiden Alexander. They're going to send Martinez, and the throw is not on line, a little bit to the right. And the right decision ended up being made by the Tom Sox there as they get the game's first run on a sacrifice fly from Brady Gumpf.
Not pretty baseball, but it's how you score runs in this type of game. Going to be a pitcher's duel all the way through. It seems you get the hit by pitch, the wild pitch, runner moves over to third on the ground ball, and the sac fly. Manufacturing runs at its finest right there. It wasn't even that deep of a fly ball, but Martinez plenty of speed, testing the arm of Alexander out there in center, and it was a good decision. Tom Sox have an early lead here.
So that'll bring up the catcher, Salvi Alvarez, and he swings at the first pitch, 2 hops to the second baseman, Harris, 4-3 over to Barrett, and just like that, the inning comes to an end for the Tom Sox, but not before they get a man home. Didn't get any hits, but they have a run. It's 1-0 as we go to the top of the third inning. This is Tom Sox TV. Tom Sox scratch across a run in the bottom of the second inning on a sacrifice fly from Brady Gumpf, and they lead 1-0 over the Harrisonburg Turks as we go to the top of the third. Luke Ned Carney, Nathan Schwartz here with you on Tom Sox TV, and can catch On Deck with the Tom Sox the morning of every home game. Go to the Tom Sox Twitter page, and hosted by Ben Rikosh, does a great job there with a rotating panel of guests. And I'm being grabbed for the show tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about this.
There you go, former host of the show, so I feel like it's only right that you make a guest appearance every once in a while this year.
Absolutely. The most famous guest we've had on that show came back in 2018 when Vinny Pasquantino, now of the Kansas City Royals, jumped in and guested on an episode. That was pretty fun. Now he's hitting home runs in the major leagues.
Unfortunately, just suffered a season-ending injury, so he will no longer be able to continue this great season he's having with the Royals, but had a great season here in Charlottesville and certainly en route to having a phenomenal career with KC.
Jose Perez leads things off, the 9-hole hitter for the Harrisonburg Turks, who trail 1-0 to Charlottesville in the top of the third, as Perez takes the first ball upstairs.
And Tom Sox fans, if you remember the game a couple weeks ago between the Turks and the Tom Sox here at CHO Airport Field, you remember the name Jose Perez. It was 4-2 in favor of the Turks in that game. Perez drove in all 4 runs for Harrisonburg that night, including a 2-run homer over on the hill in left field.
He's got his eyes set out there now, but he hasn't seen anything in the strike zone. The 1-0 comes up and out from Zach Root, the left-hander out of East Carolina. The 2-0, swing and a miss on a fastball right to them. Actually, a foul tip, technically, held on to by Alvarez.
2-0 pitch right there, got a fastball right down the middle of the plate. That's a swing Perez had to take, just missed it.
First batter at the top of the third inning. Here's the 2-1 pitch, hit a mile in the air. Foul territory toward the Tom Sox dugout. It's Hinks and Alvarez, and it lands in Hinks' glove as he kind of sticks it out right to the side of Alvarez, who I thought was still looking for the ball, and makes the catch. So it is a F3, foul out FF3 if you're scoring at home, to the first baseman Hinks, and there's one out.
It looked from my angle like it might have even dropped for a second. Just that lack of communication and lack of stability of playing with one another with Alvarez at Florida and Hinks from Notre Dame.
Well, luckily they were next to the home dugout, not the other team's dugout for that one, as the first pitch is swung on and missed by the leadoff man, Aiden Alexander. He was a strikeout victim his first time at the plate. Zach Root has set down 5 in a row now, as that one is up and out. And a 1-2-3 top of the second, and the Tom Sox scored a hit by pitch from Bryce Martinez, and he came all the way around, scoring on a sacrifice fly from Brady Gumpf, and we stand at 1-0 here in the top of the third. The 1-1 with one out. That is an inside curveball, and Alexander jackknifes over and gets out of the way. It's 2-1.
Alexander, one of those 4 strikeout victims for Zach Root. He's the only one to go down looking. Slider on an 0-2 pitch to lead off the ball game.
1-0 Tom Sox, top of the third, one away. The 2-1 pitch is hit sharply into right center field, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Cutting it off is Gumpf and gunning it back into second base, but Tom Sox allow a base runner for the first time in 6 batters, as now Harrisonburg has a man on first with one out, and they trail 1-0.
Alexander continues to tear up the Tom Sox this season. Now he's 5 for 10 in 3 games against Charlottesville this year.
We'll see if they do anything on the base paths here. Second time through the order against Zach Root here for this Harrisonburg lineup. And it's Cam Harris, the second baseman, in a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Alvarez sets up outside. There goes the runner. It's a fastball, down and out for a ball, and easily beating the throw, diving in headfirst safely with a stolen base is Aiden Alexander.
Pretty surprising that Alexander got that good of a jump with the lefty Root. Couldn't have had a better throw from Alvarez behind the plate, but it was that jump for Alexander the reason why he was able to swipe second base.
And Root didn't really pay him much attention over there when he got to first base. I think that might be Alvarez coming out there to say, hey, we've got somebody on base right now, so we've got to be a little bit more careful here with this 1-run lead in our hands. 1-0 the count to the left-handed hitting Harris. Harris out of Coral Springs, Florida, just outside Fort Lauderdale. If he's a hockey fan, he probably watched his team lose the Stanley Cup a couple nights ago. Congrats to the Vegas Golden Knights. Little 1-0. Down and out. It's 2-0. I don't think I can be talking too much as a Capitals fan this season, but I digress. Runner on second for the Turks. They trail 1-0 here in the top of the third. The 2-0 is hit sharply into center field on a line and played on the hop and stopped by Rivera. They're going to send the runner around third. The throw is cut off, and Harrisonburg gets an RBI single from Cam Harris, and they tie this ball game up at 1.
Really hard hit ball into that left center field gap. Hit off the glove of Rivera and just kind of bobbled around out there in the gap, which allowed Alexander to score. Head coach Bob Weiss coaching third base tonight for the Turks. And easy call, wave, no throw by Boucher, the cutoff man. And just like that, we're tied up at 1.
Probably the smart move there to not let that runner get to second base and keep the double play in order. Here in a brand new ball game as Root tries to pick the runner off Harris, and Harris dives back safely for Micah Morgan, who extended his hitting streak to double digits, 10 games, back with a single in the first inning. Lefty on lefty matchup. Root versus Morgan with one away. Back to second base, or back to first base, I should say again. Morgan out of South Alabama. Native of Fairhope, just outside of Mobile. There goes the runner on the 0-0 pitch. It's called a ball, and another good throw from Rivera, but a better jump from the runner, and the Turks have their second stolen base of the inning, or I should say from Alvarez.
Yeah, it was definitely a better time play Tom Sox-wise, as Alvarez had more time to get the throw there to second base. Harris didn't get as good of a jump as Alexander did, but now same situation, runner on second, and Micah Morgan at the plate.
Facing a 1-0 count, lefty on lefty. This one is hit on the ground to second. Easy pickings for Martinez. Over to Hinks for the out, 4-3. So that'll get the runner 90 feet further along the base paths. Over to third goes Harris, and now a big at-bat here, facing the cleanup man Torres with a runner 90 feet from scoring in a 1-1 ball game.
And Torres in just 35 ABs this year with Miami, limited playing time, but did hit 486 in those 35 ABs, slugged 886, so you don't want to give him something over the plate. He's already beat you once in this game already.
Lefty on righty matchup. Root going from the windup and missing outside. You got first base open. You'll see if, wonder if they might pitch around him here in this situation. As Tom Sox one out from escaping the inning, giving up just a single run. But a couple of solid singles for the Turks, and 2 stolen bases have them back in the saddle. Nice pitch there by Root. Fastball over the inner half, strike 1. Count is even. The 1-1 pitch. Root takes something off of it, and swing and a miss, strike 2.
Really good change up there. 1-2. Really hadn't had a pitch like that all night long. Took a lot off of it. Couldn't tell whether he just loosened the fastball grip, maybe loosened the changeup grip as well. Slowest pitch he's thrown tonight, but definitely caught Torres off guard.
With a runner on third, the 1-2. Swing and a miss on a ball in the dirt. They're going to have to throw it down to first. But Alvarez to Hinks, and the inning is over. So the Turks get 2 hits. They get a run and tie the game 1-1 here in the middle of the third inning. Tom Sox coming to the plate for their third at-bat. This is Tom Sox TV. Brand new ball game here at CHO Airport Field. 1-1 as the Turks get a couple of base hits and tie this game up against the Charlottesville Tom Sox here, as the Tom Sox will bat here in the bottom of the third. Kyle Edwards leading things off, the third baseman, against Robert Kelly. Sorry, go ahead, Nathan.
Kyle just hasn't gotten a lot of things to fall recently. His average was up north 300s, but now it's all the way down to 231. And 0 for 9 against Harrisonburg this season.
Looks at a fastball just right over the plate to start, and then the second pitch misses low, I believe. So count is now 1-1 with the fast-working Kelly, probably the fastest-working pitcher I've seen in this league this year. I'm not sure if we have the pitch clock as the 1-1 misses upstairs. I don't know if it's kept on the field or not, but not really mattering with Kelly as Edwards swings and hits this a towering fly ball to left field, but the Park's going to hold it, and reaching up and making the catch is Barnett, one away.
And for Kyle, it hasn't been the lack of contact. Very limited strikeouts, only 8, and he's appeared in all 11 games this season for Charlottesville. Gotten on base at a 348 clip as well, and moved down from the 2 to the 9 spot, but really just not having a whole ton of luck right now at the plate.
Top of the order coming up for the Tom Sox, Sergio Rivera, the center fielder, who squares around to bunt, pulls back, and takes a ball down and out. He was a strikeout victim his first time at the plate. The 1-0. Wanted to hold up, but he went around. It's 1-1.
There's the old sword right there on the 1-0 delivery.
Now the 1-1 with one away. Foul tipped into the mitt of Delgado, 1-2.
Nobody on right now, but Rivera, the RBIs just seem to be finding him so far this season. He's got 9, including 2 last night in Waynesboro.
Just one hit so far for the Tom Sox. And the 1-2 is upstairs for a ball, 2-2. From the windup, righty on righty matchup, the 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3 on a heater, and just could not catch up to that one.
Yeah, it seems like Kelly's got Rivera's number. Only 2 strikeouts of the night for Kelly have come against Rivera, looking in the first inning, and now is swinging here in the third.
So Connor Hinks, the first baseman, who had a slick-looking catch on a foul ball a couple innings ago, will come up for at-bat number 2. He grounded into a fielder's choice his first time, 5-4, and swings and misses at the first pitch from Kelly, 0-1. Here's the second one, and it's another swing and a miss. So Kelly possibly starting to settle in a little bit. An 0-2 count, 2 away. Tie ball game 1-1 here in the bottom of the third inning, is just missing upstairs with that fastball. It's 1-2.
The 0-2 elevated fastball, one of the toughest pitches to lay off of if you're a hitter.
And that was a tough one to lay off of, too, just missing the outside corner on a four-seamer. Now the count is even 2-2. With the bases empty, the windup, the delivery, and this is cracked between first and second, and the Tom Sox have a solid 2-out base hit from Hinks. That's their second hit of the ball game, and the inning keeps going here as we get to the middle of the order.
And the scorecard's looking awfully similar to this first inning. In the first time through the lineup, started with the strikeout, and then Hinks reaches on the single. So we'll see what happens here. Williams grounded into a fielder's choice in his first at-bat.
Yeah, I'll correct myself there. That's the second hit of the ball game for Hinks, so he was erased on that aforementioned fielder's choice as the first pitch is over the outside corner for a strike. Derek Williams, out of Florida Southwestern, native of Imperial, Missouri, facing an 0-1 count and swinging and missing at the 0-1. It's strike 2.
Williams put together some good at-bats so far this season. Just his third game in a Tom Sox uniform is 3 for 9, 2 runs scored.
With a runner on first, 0-2, up and away.
This really is one of the fastest deliveries and quicker times between pitches I've seen all season long between the collegiate season and now the VBL.
The 1-2 swung on and missed for strike 3, so the Tom Sox can't do anything with that 2-out base hit, and they go down with no score here in the third. Our overall score, 1-1. Turks and Tom Sox tied from CHO Airport Field. We'll be right back. This is Tom Sox TV. Harrisonburg Turks 1. Charlottesville Tom Sox 1 here at CHO Airport Field. As we move to the top of the fourth, it's time to turn it over to Nathan Schwartz.
Thank you, Luke. Yeah, CHO Airport Field, the site for tonight's game. Third matchup of the season between the Tom Sox and the Turks. Zach Root will be back out for his fourth inning of work. Mentioned earlier, has a lot of experience coming into this Tom Sox season. Entering for Root just the third week of the season. And it's been a lot of fastball and slider that's worked for Root so far, Luke.
Yeah, and he's facing this part of the Harrisonburg order that he had no trouble with the first time through. It's been the top of the Turks order that's done most of the damage. We're getting 5, 6, and 7 here in this top of the fourth inning. Strikeout, ground out, strikeout, and then the next two batters got out as well. So we'll see if that changes here the second time through the lineup.
Yeah, 4 hits for the Turks, 1 for each of the 4 top hitters in that lineup. Alexander, Harris, Morgan, and Torres have all singled in this ballgame. And now it'll be Ben Barrett to lead things off for the Turks. Here in the top half of the fourth was a strikeout victim, the second of the game by Root back in the top of the first inning. 1-1, top of the fourth, first pitch of the inning, a fastball on the outer part of the plate fouled off by Barrett for strike 1.
Barrett out of Florida State, just finished their first year with former Notre Dame manager Link Jarrett as their manager. Jarrett, of course, managed some of the Tom Sox.
Oh, yeah. Barrett, a highly touted recruit in the state of Florida, the Orlando native. We'll get into more of that in a minute as he takes a swing and a miss on the 1-1 breaking ball to make the count 1 ball, 2 strike. But Barrett, number 8 right-handed pitcher in Florida for the class of 2022. The 201st player overall in the entire class. 1-2 ground ball, that's in front of the Harrisonburg dugout, and the count remains 1-2.
I was going to say, if you're going to say highly recruited player from Florida, you got to be a little more specific.
Oh, yeah. Just the fact that he was a pitcher coming out of high school, but a lot of success with the Seminoles this season at the plate. In 33 games, hit .359. As the 1-2, that's swung on and missed. Alvarez will throw down to first, and there's the first out of the top of the fourth.
Zach Root said, I don't care what your stats were at Florida State. You're in Charlottesville now at CHO Airport Field, and you're striking out. Good start here for the Tom Sox.
6 strikeouts through 3 1/3 for Root. He had 54 in 53 2/3 innings this year at ECU, so about 1 an inning so far tonight. That pace has jumped up to about 2. Trent Corrali now in the right-handed batter's box. He lets that fastball go down and in for ball 1. Corrali, a ground-out victim back in the top of the second to Martinez on the 4-3. Near errant throw on that play by Bryce Martinez, but Hinks was able to apply the tag. Corrali, minimal success this season with the Turks as he goes fishing on the 1-0 pitch to even the count.
Out of Oklahoma City University, a school of exactly 1,619 undergraduates.
395 average in 53 games, 52 bombs, 62 runs driven in this year with OKC. Another swing and a miss on a off-speed delivery down and away to put the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes, and it's been that changeup and the slider really been the emphasis for Root in this fourth inning. Root out of the wind, 1-2 delivery, fastball grounded on a 2-hop to Boucher at short. He will take his time, throw in the dirt, and it gets past Hinks. Alvarez backing up, but the ball goes out of play, and Corrali will advance to second base. So an E6 from Alex Boucher will put a runner in scoring position for the Turks with 1 away.
And Boucher just flubbed that throw a little bit. He had plenty of time, as you said, and looked like had a sinker on it, like a fishing line. When you casted it out, that ball just went down way too quickly, and no chance for the first baseman, Hinks.
One thing to note, Boucher entering the game for the Tom Sox tonight at that shortstop position. Kyle Edwards had been playing shortstop for the first 10 games of the season. Did not play last night. Boucher played shortstop last night at Waynesboro, now getting back-to-back starts at short with Edwards sliding over to third base, the ODU teammates, as the first pitch to Sean Barnett is inside for ball 1. Edwards moved around a lot at ODU this year, some third base, some shortstop, some second base, and left field as well, with that presence of Boucher at shortstop. As there's a ground ball right to Root, he's got Corrali in a rundown between second and third. Edwards will apply the tag for out number 2, and that is a textbook way to field the pitcher's position.
Yeah, and a really good job there looking back to second to see if he had a play. A lot of pitchers probably would have just gone right to first and taken the out, but the Tom Sox there with some heads-up baseball to erase the lead runner. The batter runner does get to first, so the Turks still got a guy on base, but you'd rather have him at first than second for sure.
And being left-handed, already being spun towards that side of the diamond really helped Root out there. So now 2 away, runner at first is Barnett reaching on the fielder's choice as Matthew Delgado, the backstop for the Turks, steps into the batter's box. And again, another pitch down and in to begin this at-bat for Root.
Too bad you can't take the error off the board.
Right. And still an E6 there for Alex Boucher, the lone error of the game for either side. Minimal lead for Barnett over at first base. The 1-0 from Root. There's a fly ball into right. Gumpf over towards the line. He makes the catch, and there is the third out of the inning. A little bit of trouble in the middle, but a pickoff at second base gets Root out of trouble. 1-1 remains the score as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Here between the Turks and the Tom Sox, it'll be Boucher, Martinez, and Wiley due up for Charlottesville on the other side of this break. Kelly remains on the mound for the Turks as we begin the bottom half of the fourth inning here at CHO Airport Field. Nathan Schwartz, Luke Nadkarni on the call for you tonight here from the press box. And Luke, what have you seen so far through these first 3.5?
Well, it's a bit of a pitcher's duel here, Nathan. Every time a team threatens, both teams have done a really good job of minimizing the damage. No better job there than the Tom Sox erasing that error by Boucher in the last half inning.
And Boucher will lead off this bottom of the fourth inning, and he takes the first pitch breaking ball down low for ball 1. Kelly only 2 hits given up in the one in the first, one in the third, both to Connor Hanks. As there's a nice fly ball out into right. That's going to get down into the gap and go all the way to the wall. Boucher rounding first. He's into second base. A leadoff double for Alex Boucher, his first extra base hit as a Tom Sox.
And now he's atoned for that error completely. As the other thing I was going to say I've noticed is both pitchers really coming after the hitters. Not a lot of trying to go fishing, not a lot of junk being thrown, just both pitchers coming after the hitters. And in that case there, Kelly throwing a ball right in the zone to Boucher, the leadoff hitter, and he whacks it into right center for a leadoff double.
So leadoff man in scoring position for David Wiley, who had quite the debut against the Turks with the Tom Sox last Friday night at JMU. 2 for 3 in the game with an RBI, a walk, a hit by pitch, 2 stolen bases for Wiley in his first game with Charlottesville. Now he squares to bunt on the first pitch. That will be pulled back and away. And this is actually Bryce Martinez, not Wiley. Jumped ahead a little bit.
Martinez took one off the shoulder last time and ended up coming around to score the only Tom Sox run thus far.
Martinez also had a big debut against the Turks as Martinez gets this one down. Kelly will field the throw to first, not going to be in time. An infield single for Bryce Martinez, and that's how you got to do it from the right-hand side. Lay it down the third base side and leg it out, and that's exactly what Martinez did.
That was a phenomenal bunt by Bryce Martinez. Had a little bit of backspin, looked like a Roger Federer drop shot at Wimbledon, just dying there on the grass. Runners on the corners now for the Tom Sox.
And now here comes David Wiley, an even better opportunity for Charlottesville. Runners on the corners, nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth, tied game at 1 apiece. Lone run for the Tom Sox came on a sacrifice fly for Brady Gumpton. Here's a safety squeeze, but it's going to not work as Martinez advances to second. Wiley will be thrown out at first base, and just a little too hard on the bunt, not far enough down the line.
And that does get Martinez over to second base, 2 men in scoring position here with fewer than 2 outs. I think if that gets past the pitcher and had to be fielded by the first or second baseman, you see the runner come home. But smart job there by the Tom Sox there, not trying to take that risk.
So even though it doesn't work to the intended purpose, it gets both runners in scoring position for the man who has the lone RBI on the night for Charlottesville, and Brady Gumpf. Sac fly back in the second inning that brought Martinez home to score. Now Gumpf looking to give the Tom Sox a bigger lead. 0-1 delivery, slider down and away to even the count. Gumpf mentioned earlier, not a lot of appearances so far this season, just the fourth game he's played in. 1 hit. Another breaking ball. That one catches the outside corner for strike 2.
There is some action going on in the Tom Sox bullpen. It's a right-hander.
Now, Lyndon Coleman has not thrown his starters more than 3 or 4 innings in a game this season. Root already threw 4. There's a line drive into left field for a base hit. Boucher scores. Martinez will be held at third, and have a day, Brady Gumpf. He's driven in both runs for the Tom Sox, and they regain the lead. It's 2-1 here in the fourth.
Well, people named Gumpf, usually good with the ping pong paddle, but also good with the baseball bat there. Tom Sox take the lead, and it's been the Brady Gumpf show here thus far.
He's been waiting to get back into this lineup, and he got the opportunity tonight and is not messing around. Just his second hit of the season thus far, his third RBI of the year, makes it 2-1 Tom Sox as Salvi Alvarez will step up to the plate. Alvarez, just his second game with Charlottesville. And he squares the bunt, gets this one down to the right side. This safety squeeze will work, and nobody's covering first base. Perfectly executed safety squeeze for Alvarez. It'll go in the book as an RBI single and make that a 2-run lead, 3-1 Tom Sox.
And that's just communication issues there from the Turks defense. That would have probably been smart to maybe after Gumpf's at bat, the catcher went out, maybe the pitching coach goes out, talks a little bit of strategy, because the Tom Sox have been funky with the bats here in this inning, but they don't do that, and Charlottesville just says thank you very much, extending the lead.
Martinez scores his second run of the ball game, and now even more trouble for Harrisonburg as Kyle Edwards steps into the box with 2 on and 1 out. Kelly checks Gumpf at second. The first pitch to Edwards down and away for ball 1.
Nathan, you mentioned the Turks, top of the order, has done a lot of their damage tonight. For the Tom Sox, it's been the bottom of the order that's really made the Turks defense work.
Gumpf, Alvarez, back-to-back RBI singles. One laced into left field, another one on a bunt to the right side of the infield as there's a strike on the outside corner for Edwards. He thought it was a little bit off the plate, but the count evens at 1. Kyle flew out to left to lead off the third, a towering fly ball, which later in the game, if that same ball is hit, could be a little tricky with the lighting here at CHO Airport Field. 1-1 to Edwards, heater in the same spot to put the count 1-2.
Turks have some action in the bullpen now. That just happened in the last minute or so. Camden Hill, the left-hander from Auburn, is getting loose out there.
So Gumpf the runner at second, Alvarez at first, 3-1 Tom Sox here in the bottom of the fourth. 1-2 to Edwards, soft grounder to second, flip to second base for 1. The throw to first is wide. Here comes Gumpf home to score. Edwards will go to second. And Kyle Edwards puts the ball in play. Good things happen. Largest lead continues to grow for the Tom Sox tonight. It's now 4-1.
So I'm not sure how we're going to score that one because you can't assume the double play, but the runner from third advancing home on that errant throw. So I think you would have to charge an error in that case.
Look, probably going to go down as an E6. And that run comes around to score, advancing on the error.
And Edwards is a fast runner. It looked like he had that beat out, even if the throw would have been on time. So I think if you can do that again, if you're Harrisonburg, you probably just eat that and take the out at second and don't make that throw. But now we have time called, and Tom Sock's third base coach, looks like something is loose on the field, some article of something. And
the one thing for certain, no RBI for Kyle Edwards there. But he is on second base with now 2 out. For the top of the order, and Sergio Rivera, already 9 RBI on the season, looking for double digits here. But he squares the bunt, pulls back, and it's going to be ball 1.
And why not if you're the Tom Sox? You've had a lot of success doing that this inning. If nothing else, it makes the Turks think a little bit.
Both corner infielders playing back, not expecting Rivera to bunt here with 2 out. If there's one thing with this Tom Sox team, you can't assume anything. Edwards caught in between second and third. He's dancing, will slide headfirst into third base, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. But the Tom Sox strike big here in the bottom of the 4th. 3 runs come home to score. An RBI single for Gumpf, an RBI single for Alvarez, and a little bit of a jam for Kyle Edwards brings in a 3rd run in the inning. Tom Sox lead 4-1 as we head to the top half of the 5th. A new arm will be on for Charlottesville right after this on Tom Sox TV. What a way to respond for the Tom Sox in the bottom half of the 4th. The offense has been struggling to score runs early in games this season at times, but a 3 spot there in the bottom half of the 4th.
Tom Sox have been held to just 2 hits through the first 3 innings. What did they do? Change their approach at the plate a little bit. We saw 3 or 4 guys square around a bunt. We saw one of the Tom Sox bunt for a hit, and they got a run home on another ball that they bunted as well. So Lyndon Coleman kind of reaching into the bag of tricks a little bit here to get Harrisonburg's goat a little bit.
The bag of tricks, seems to be just the normal offense for Charlottesville this season, and some run support for Mike Eggert, who enters the game, making his 3rd appearance of the season. We'll get into Zach Root's final line here in a moment. The first pitch for Eggert outside for ball 1, but Root goes 4 innings, gives up 1 earned run on 4 hits, no walks, and strike out 6 batters. Say that's a pretty good outing to begin your Tom Sox career, Luke.
Yeah, and you mentioned that's probably as far as we'll see the starters go for this team much of this season.
Plenty of pitchers on this Tom Sox pitching staff. There's a swing and miss on the 1-0 changeup to even the count. And the batter, Jose Perez, was a foul out victim in the 3rd inning to Connor Hanks. Breaking ball on the 1-1, down low, 2-1 the count. He's
out of Kissimmee, Florida, plays at Seminole State, of course his hometown. Just right right up the road from Walt Disney World. You might have heard of that place.
Does seem pretty familiar. As 2-1 changeup down low, 3-1 now the count. Eggert last appeared on the 13th against Purcellville, went an inning, did not give up a hit or a run, did walk a batter. There's a hard liner, one hop to Martinez. He snares it out of the dirt and throws to first, and a nice defensive play to start the fifth.
Nice job there by Martinez, recognizing how much time he would have. He didn't need to make a Herculean effort to make that catch in the air. Knocks it down, kind of like a goalie in hockey making a save, and then throws it over to first. Pretty routine.
Yeah, back in the second inning, he couldn't really judge how much time he had. Nearly made a throwing error, but now had plenty of time on that one hopper by Perez for out number one, and that brings up the top of the order in Aiden Alexander. Alexander was a strikeout victim in the first down, went down looking, and then Singleton scored the lone run for Harrisonburg in the third on the RBI single for Cam Harris. Second batter for Eggert, and same start to the at-bat, a ball upstairs.
And this is where the pitching change is strategic, because if you still had the starter in the game, it'd be the third time through the order.
1-0 from Eggert. That fastball outside, a little bit of a command issue for Eggert with the fastball to begin his outing. Mentioned this is the third outing for Mike in his return to the Tom Sox. He only made 4 appearances with Charlottesville last year. He's gone 3 scoreless innings to begin this season. 2-0 fastball lined into right. An aggressive swing for Alexander in the hitter's count, but he will fly out to right for out number 2.
And there's that man again, Brady Gumpf. We've seen him a couple times on offense, and he had a nice catch on a hard, long hit ball and back in the first inning, and that one much, much easier for him to put away.
When you're doing a lot of good things at the plate, the ball tends to find you in the field as well, and vice versa. If you're doing well in the field, you tend to get a lot of at-bats with pretty high stakes, and that's just how the game of baseball works sometimes, and Brady Gumpf living up to the task tonight. First pitch ball again to Cam Harris, who's also 1 for 2 on the night, similar to Alexander. And another ball, that fastball, really, he hasn't just been able to find the zone.
Yeah, Harris out of Wingate University, alma mater of former Florida State coach Mike Martin. Fun fact.
Another 2-0 from Eggert, and there's a deep drive into right center. Gumpf racing back towards the fence. He is camping under it and makes the catch for out number 3. Some hard-hit baseballs against Mike Eggert in the 5th, but the Turks go down in order 1, 2, 3. As we head to the bottom half of the inning, the Tom Sox looking to build on this 4-1 lead with the top of the order in Rivera, Hinks, and Williams right after this on Tom Sox TV. Back here for the bottom half of the 5th inning here on Tom Sox TV. Nathan Schwartz, Luke Nad Carney with you here for the third matchup of this young season between the Turks and the Tom Sox. Charlottesville has jumped out to a 4-1 lead thanks to a 3-spot in the bottom half of the fourth inning, and now a new arm for the Turks and Cam Hill.
And Cam Hill coming out of Auburn. He's one of those SEC players. A lot of those we see here on Charlottesville's roster, and going from a righty to a lefty now for this Tom Sox offense.
Rivera squares out to bunt, takes the pitch for strike one. An interesting note on Hill, he is a two-way player at Auburn, has spent 3 years with Auburn, but did not make any appearances on the mound this season. So this will be his first time pitching. I believe he doesn't have any pitching appearances on the season with the Turks. So possibly Auburn wanted him to get more innings on the mound after not getting those innings in the season. 1-1 swing and a miss from Rivera for strike two, but Hill has gotten some plate appearances, and he's had a lot of success with the Turks so far. He's 5 for 10 with 5 RBI in just 4 games. 1-2, fastball down and away to even the count at 2.
Hill's got a pretty famous pitching coach if you follow Major League Baseball, Tim Hudson, Auburn alum. And also, Gabe Gross is one of the coaches at Auburn under Butch Thompson.
2-2 from Hill inside, and the count goes full.
Of course, Auburn a 2-Q in the ACC tournament or in the NCAA tournament this year, getting knocked off by by Samford and Penn.
Full count delivery from Cam Hill, and there's a swing and a miss from Sergio Rivera. So Hill comes in, strikes out the first batter he faces on the mound all season long. Can confirm he did not have an appearance with Auburn, has not pitched at all with Harrisonburg so far this season. So the first batter he fakes goes down on strikes.
And kind of a similar strategy here from Bob Weiss. You make the pitching change just before that third time through the lineup. Try to keep this deficit where it's at if you're Harrisonburg.
Rivera was up at the bottom of the fourth inning when Edwards had just reached second base on the error, and then Edwards got picked off between second and third, so he didn't get a chance to finish the at-bat in that inning, but continues it in the fifth and strikes out, swinging. 1-0 here to Connor Hinks, who's already 2 for 2 with 2 singles in the ball game, and he takes a healthy hack through that one for strike number 1.
It's been the Notre Dame boys here tonight for the Tom Sox. Hinks and Gumpf doing the damage.
There's a strike on the outside corner taken by Hinks, and the count works to 1-2. And against Harrisonburg last week, it was the Wofford duo of Bryce Martinez and David Wiley doing the damage tonight. Another one-school approach, as there's a slider taken by Hinks on the outside corner for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Cam Hill to begin his outing.
Might have been the best pitch we've seen from a Harrisonburg hurler all night long. And are you sure this guy hasn't pitched before?
I'm 100%. He made 13 appearances between 2021 and 2022 with Auburn. Only pitched 9 innings. Really struggled in 21. Was not as bad in 22, but in 23 did not appear at all and only had 15 at-bats with Auburn this season. So looking to get a lot more playing time here with the Turks. First pitch to Derek Williams was on the inside corner for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Fastball down and in. The count evens at 1. Williams in the game, 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first and struck out swinging to end the bottom half of the third. Both Turks pitchers working quickly as that ball spiked right on the plate to put the count at 2-1.
Tom Sox have a couple guys up and kind of kicking around, stretching in the dugout, but nobody throwing, which leads me to believe it'll be another Mike Eggert inning in the 6th.
There's always a plan going into these games, how many innings each guy's going to throw and who's going to throw, so these guys know when they're going to enter the game unless there's a drastic change and extra pitchers are going to be needed. But you got to feel like the plan was to have Root throw maybe 3 originally, but he was able to extend to 4 because of how efficient he was, and then have Eggert come in and then the cavalry come behind him. Payoff pitch, 2 outs. And Hill strikes out the side. Rivera goes down swinging, Hinks goes down looking, and Williams goes down swinging. 3 Ks for 3 batters for Cam Hill. A nice debut on the mound for him in a Turks uniform. Keeps the score. Tom Sox 4, Turks 1 as we head to the top half of the 6th here at CHO Airport Field right after this. Both relief arms that have come into the game have thrown 1, 2, 3 innings as we begin the top half of the 6th here at CHO Airport Field. Nathan Schwartz, Luke Nad-Carney with you on the call tonight. Mike Eggert back on the mound for inning number 2 of relief, and once again he starts with a ball, and that's 4 first pitch balls to begin his outing.
Middle of the Harrisonburg order due up here in the 6th.
3, 4, 5, Morgan, Torres, and Barrett. As there's a single to the right side for Micah Morgan, he remains scorching hot at the plate.
Yeah, his first at bat, he got the important stuff out of the way early as he extended his hit streak to 10 games. We'll have to check and see if that's the Valley League top so far in this season, but there's his second hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 3.
And all 4 batters that have faced Eggert so far have hit the ball really hard. A ground out for Perez and 2 flyouts for Alexander and Harris to end the 5th inning, and now the single for Morgan to begin this inning. Breaking ball, finally a first pitch strike for Eggert. Get me over pitch to Torres, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Singled back in the first.
You'll take a ground ball here if you're Lyndon Coleman.
There's a check over to first base. Tom Sox had some struggles with the pickoff move in their last home game against Strasburg on Tuesday. Can't afford to have too many of those errors tonight in a tight ball game. There's a swing and a foul tip off the end of the bat for Jason Torres. Torres so far this season entering the game was 1 for 4 with 3 runs scored and an RBI. Now 1 for 2 in this game. Just his 4th game of the season with Harrisonburg. This is the first time he's faced Charlottesville this season, this being game 3 of the 4-game set. Another check over there to Morgan at first base.
Turks have a lefty up in the bullpen, Chase Kriebel. Wonder if that 1 inning will be it.
There's a 3rd check over there to Morgan at first base, who has yet to swipe a bag this season. Gets on base a whole lot, but doesn't move a lot from first to second.
And you got more to do here if you're the Turks. You're not trying to just scratch out 1 run.
Eggert ahead 0-2, but he continues to focus on the runner at first, Morgan, and he throws this one away, and it goes all the way to the fence. So just was talking about the struggles for the Tom Sox on Tuesday night with that pickoff move. And once again, same result here tonight.
And that's just playing with fire there if you're the Tom Sox. Now the approach changes, I think, in this inning. You got to figure, with nobody out, runner on second. If this guy gets home, this guy gets home, but you really have to make that the only run you potentially allow here in the 6th inning.
Definitely trade an out for the base runner moving up 90 feet. But the strikeout would be crucial for Eggert against the number 4 hitter in Torres, and a man who's already struck out twice tonight in Barrett on deck. Morgan at second following the error on the pickoff. 0-2 delivery, breaking ball blocked by Alvarez. Count moves to 1-2 as both bullpens continue to get loose. Eggert facing a lot of trouble so far on batted balls, and now has a runner in scoring position for the first time. 4-1 Tom Sox here, top of the 6th. 1-2 to Torres. He goes fishing. Alvarez will have to throw to first, and there is the completed strikeout for out number 1 here in the 6th. First strikeout of the night for Eggert.
And I will confirm this, but I believe that is Braden Halliday warming up for the Tom Sox out in the bullpen, a right-hander.
Halliday's already had a couple appearances with the Tom Sox this season in his return. This is his 2nd straight year in a Tom Sox uniform.
I've got the fence in my way where the number would be, but it's a tall right-hander, and the first digit is 1.
I'd put good money on the fact that that would be Halliday out there warming. It's been a couple days since we've seen him last. I believe his last appearance was on Sunday, as we can confirm it is Halliday warming. And there's a fly ball into right center field. That's Rivera ranging over. He makes the catch for out number 2. A strong throw to third but it's not going to be in time. If it was a little more online and Edwards didn't have to go after the baseball, would have been a bang-bang play at the bag, but instead a tag for Morgan puts a runner on third with 2 out.
That was a hose by Rivera. I don't really think he had a chance at getting the runner out because he was moving toward the right side of the field while the runner was tagging toward third, but good positioning there. He got a good jump on that ball off the bat. I thought that could have been trouble when it was hit, but good job there by Rivera.
He's traditionally in left field or a corner outfield spot, but mainly in left. Doesn't get a chance to show off that arm a whole lot. But with Justin Thomas not in the lineup tonight, Rivera slides over to center and nearly gunned down a runner there. Now, there's a first pitch ball to Trent Corrali, who's 0 for 2 in the game. Grounded out in the second, reached on an error by Alex Boucher in the fourth. And now trying to drive in the second run of the game for Harrisonburg. There's a breaking ball that just can't clip the top of the zone, and the count moves to 2-0.
Eggert takes a step off the mound there. He wanted that call.
Definitely was borderline. And hitters count here for Corrali. 2-0 breaking ball. He sends that one on the ground to Boucher at short. Routine play. He throws to first, comes off the bag, and Hinks applies the tag for the third and final out. Leadoff man Morgan singles, gets all the way to third, but still no runs come to cross for the Turks in the third consecutive inning. Bottom of the sixth coming up after this. Tom Sox have a 4-1 lead here on Tom Sox TV. Bottom of the sixth inning here at CHO Airport Field. Tom Sox lead 4-1 over the visiting Harrisonburg Turks. Chase Kreibel will be the new arm for Harrisonburg after Cam Hill goes a perfect 1-2-3 fifth where he strikes out the side. Now Kreibel, the sophomore left-hander from Florida Gulf Coast, gets Boucher to roll over to third base. The throw cross diamond is in time from Jason Torres for out number 1.
So far, so good for the man from Dunk City, who we were told is going to remain in the game and bat as well.
So if that is the case, Harrisonburg will lose the DH. Trent Corrali will exit the ball game. And Kreibel will remain in the 6th spot in the order.
He's a native of Shippen, Pennsylvania, or Shippenville, Pennsylvania, I should say. So a little north to south up the East Coast for his college ball.
The first pitch he throws to Bryce Martinez catches the outside corner for strike 1. Kreibel was the 4th-ranked left-handed pitcher in Pennsylvania, according to Perfect Game, for the class of 2022. He made 9 starts over 23 appearances with Florida Gulf Coast this season. As there's a 1-out single, Oppo taco for Bryce Martinez to put a runner on with one away.
He's having a good game, reach base every single time, and not nearly as painful the last 2 times at the plate as he's hit singles after getting hit on the shoulder by a pitch the first time at the plate. And that was a really nice piece of hitting. Pitch was a little bit low, and he just kind of went with it, served it into the opposite field for a 1-out single.
Driving the baseball where it's pitched. One of the fundamentals that hitting coaches instill at a very young age is if it's on the outside part of the plate, you need to put your foot down early, keep your hands through, and drive that to the opposite field. And now David Wiley squares to bunt. Martinez takes off. The throw down is not in time as it's dropped by the shortstop Perez. So there's a swipe bag for Martinez.
I think the throw might have been in time. It was just unable to be held onto by the second baseman, Cam Harris, and was going to be bang, bang, but luckily the umpire's call was very easy because possession of the ball was never attained.
It's the 6th stolen base of the season for Bryce Martinez. Puts a runner on second with one away now for his teammate at Wofford and David Wiley. We'll see if he squares around again. He does not, and that pitch nearly gets away from the catcher Delgado. Good reflexes to bring the glove to his arm side and haul it in for ball 1. Tom Sox looking for much-needed insurance. They currently hold a 4-1 lead in this bottom of the 6th inning. There's a slow chopper to third. Torres will throw to first for out number 2. Good heads-up base running by Martinez to trail the throw. So he moves over to third base with now 2 away for Brady Gumpf, who's, Luke, having a great game at the plate.
Yeah, this is the guy you want up there with 2 outs and a runner on third if you're the Tom Sox in this ball game. He's got a single and a sac fly to his credit already, and now a crucial at-bat here with a 3-run lead.
Already driven in 2, looking to make it 3 as he spikes one foul to the left side for strike 1. Kreibel, this is his 3rd appearance in a Turks uniform. He's gone 2 2/3 innings entering the game, giving up 4 earned on 2 hits, walked 5, struck out 5. ERA north of 10. And there's a spiked ball in the 0-1 delivery. So 1-1 the count. Martinez, the runner at third.
This is the part of the Tom Sox order that's done most of the damage tonight at the plate.
3 of the 4 RBI have come from the 7 and the 8 spot in the order for Charlottesville. 2 RBIs for Gumpf and an RBI single for Salvi Alvarez. That 4th run, not an RBI, credited towards Kyle Edwards as a run came around to score after he reached on an error by Perez at short. Kreibel comes to a set, the 1-2 delivery. Fastball, that one is lined into right center field, and Morgan will corral it for out number 3. Gumpf gave it a ride, but it just didn't find the grass out there in the gap, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. Score remains Tom Sox 4, Turks 1. And the latter third of the ball game coming up right after this on Tom Sox TV. We're through 6 here at CHO Airport Field, 4-1 Tom Sox. Luke, take us the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. You can catch Nathan Schwartz and several others on the first episode of Tom Sox Weekly, dropping tomorrow before the game, which is at 7 o'clock. Show will be up a long time before then, and Nathan will have a profile with one of your Tom Sox assistant coaches, Orange County native Trey Smith, making his debut season as a coach here, a former Tom Sox player, and I think we'll have some magic with Sergio Rivera as well,
yeah.
and Alex Rocco. I was here when we filmed that last week. As Mike Eggert right back out there for the 7th inning. Tom Sox ahead 4-1 as 7, 8, and 9 for the Turks here in this top half of the 7th inning. It'll be Sean Barnett, the left fielder, leading things off.
Also some coverage from the Tom Sox summer baseball camp that was conducted over the course of this week.
And we actually have a pinch hitter now as I speak. It's Garrett Bradley out of Georgia Southwestern State who will bat in the 7 hole. And he's down in an 0-2 count. So Bradley replaces Barnett. And he is down on 3 pitches, swinging as the ball goes into the dirt and has to be thrown from home plate to first. Alvarez to Hinks, and there's one away.
Not an ideal appearance there for Bradley at the plate, but surprised to see Eggert go back out there. He's been grinding, especially in that 6th inning, to get out of the jam with the leadoff man reaching on the single and then advancing on the self-inflicted error on the pickoff attempt, but then has retired 4 in a row, including 2 Ks.
Here's Matthew Delgado, the catcher, who bats without batting gloves and takes a curveball to start for a strike. No relation to Carlos that I know of.
I don't think so.
The 0-1 outside for a ball.
Whenever there's that same name, it's always the first thing that comes to your head. Especially Torres, very common name as well. Maybe close to Glaber in some sort of fashion.
Ball fouled back, 1-2. And, here in the Valley League, we do get that from time to time. Tom Sox have had some famous MLB players' sons. We've got one on the roster right now, and Braden Holliday, son of the late, great Roy Doc Holliday. And Peyton Glavin, the son of Tom Glavin, was here for a few weeks 2 seasons ago. The 1-2 from Eggert. Fastball. Hit on the ground to first. Couple of hops into the glove of Hinks, and he'll take it himself. 3 unassisted and 2 away.
And 5 in a row retired by Eggert. Really started his outing getting hit hard. Couple deep fly balls into right. And ever since that single for Micah Morgan, it's been soft contact or a strikeout. And he's really pitched nicely, going very deep into this game. This is his longest outing of the season through 2 2/3 right now.
Here's Jose Perez, the shortstop, out of Seminole State, out of Kissimmee, Florida, spring training country. And he takes a strike over the outer half. 4-1 Tom Sox, 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Tom Sox have out-hit the Turks 7-5. They have committed one more error than Harrisonburg at 2-1. As the 0-1 is chopped high off the ground to the pitcher, who runs off the mound, scoops it up. Eggert over to Hinks for the out, and just like that, 1-2-3 go the Harrisonburg Turks here in the top of the 7th. We stretch here at CHO Airport Field. It's 4-1 Tom Sox. This is Tom Sox TV. Tom Sox looking to build on a 4-1 lead here in the late innings at CHO Airport Field, bottom of the 7th, and they will face Harrisonburg's Chase Kreibel for the second inning here, as Salvi Alvarez leads things off here for the Tom Sox in the bottom of the 7th inning. 8-9-1 here for a Charlottesville team that's looking to pull even with Harrisonburg in the league standings. The Turks came into this game 7-4. Tom Sox with a record of 6-5, just breaking that 3-game losing streak last night with a victory over the Mountain in Waynesboro.
Yeah, a lot of teams jumbled up in that second place to all the way down, even 9th place, 10th place in the standings right now. Just a couple of games ago, you had 9 teams of the 12 that were either 4-5 or 5-4.
First pitch to Alvarez is a ball. The second one is a strike over the outer half. As new this season is the abolishment of divisions. It's now, instead of north and south, it's just all one big happy family, as the 1-1 is over for a strike, 1-2.
Each team will play the other 11 teams in the league 4 times. Top 8 teams will make the playoffs, and earlier playoff season will be done by August 1st entirely, playoffs included.
The 1-2 is down in the dirt. Not sure what that does to the All-Star format. That happens in about 3 weeks from now at Bing Crosby Stadium. It used to be just South All-Stars versus North All-Stars. We'll see what they do for that this season. 2-2 with nobody out to Alvarez, who swings in. It's a swinging bunt in front of the catcher's box and just trickles into fair territory, where it's picked up by Delgado and a seed over to first for out number 1. Delgado finally with a chance to show off his catcher's arm there.
Oh, yeah. That All-Star game will take place next Sunday.
So moved it up a little bit.
Moved it up a little bit, especially with that playoff format. Can't put it back too late because you have some players that only stay for the month of June and then leave and go back to whether they be their hometowns or their schools. Also have a lot of guys that enter in July as well. So you got to find that middle ground where the guys that have been here and played so far that deserve to be All-Stars get to play in the game.
Kyle Edwards, the 9-hole hitter, digs in, takes a ball upstairs from Kreibel. Edwards has flown out to left and grounded into a fielder's choice, and he swings it to 1-0 and hits it foul way back into the woods behind the Tom Sox dugout. Kyle Edwards out of Chesapeake, and Old Dominion, ODU, of course, the 1 seed in the 2021 Columbia Regional, won by the Virginia Cavaliers, on their way to the College World Series, where they'll play tomorrow against the mighty Florida Gators, as the 1-1 pitch comes in, lefty on righty, and that's fouled back off the backstop toward the Tom Sox dugout.
Can't wait for that tournament to start tomorrow. Oral Roberts, great story, 4 seed in the regional, then a great super against Oregon. Was up 8-0 in game 1. That lead was lost, and then coming back to win the next 2 games.
This one's lofted into right center, and it's going to split the gap for Edwards. All the way to the wall it rolls, and Kyle Edwards pulls into second base with a 1-out double.
And really good to see Kyle get a barrel right there in the 7th inning. Pitch on the outside corner, 2 strikes. A lot of times that's just been a routine fly ball for him over the past 5 games or so, but he really got all of that baseball, driving it into right center. If it was a little harder, he probably gets to third on that one, but hung up in the air long enough where the outfielders were able to get to it. But Kyle puts himself in scoring position with only 1 away.
Tonight's game, of course, sponsored by Gary Albert, State Farm agent, so big opportunity for a little insurance for the Tom Sox. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, as the first pitch is outside, 1-0 to the top of the lineup. Rivera now back, the center fielder. 4-1, Tom Sox in front, looking to extend it to a full 1-possession lead here, as a strike is delivered to Rivera. Yeah, to your point about the College World Series, good balance of teams this year. You've got a Cinderella in Oral Roberts. You've got a couple relative newcomers in Tennessee and Wake Forest. Then you got 5 traditional powers rounding out the field. The 1-1 stays upstairs.
Matchups tomorrow I'm really intrigued about. Those are probably 2 of the better matchups in the tournament, with Oral Roberts, TCU, 2 teams not expected to be there, and then UVA and Florida, of course. 2 really good baseball teams. Expect a lot of offense in that one.
The 2-1 squaring around to bunt and pulling back, taking over off the outside corner, I should say, for a ball is Rivera.
Get to see stars like Jack Caglione, Paul Skeens, a lot of these SEC guys, Dylan Cruz. You have the Teal bloodline going into the College World Series once again.
The 3-1 is at the knees for a strike. Rivera thought he had drawn ball 4 and was halfway down to first. And, of course, Tommy White from LSU, formerly of my alma mater, NC State. I could go down this. It's still fun to watch him play, though. I still get happy watching him hit home runs. But
Tommy Tanks.
Of course, NC State 2021 participants in the College World Series. I'd prefer not to talk about how that ended. As the count has run full on Rivera, man in scoring position with 1 away. Tom Sox up 4-1 here in the bottom of the 7th. Greibel looks back to second. Runner goes, and the pitch is called a ball. It's ball 4. From second, Edwards slides safely into third, so a stolen base. And now runners on the corners for the Tom Sox here, looking to drive a run home. We'll see if we see the bunts again or if there's some more action on the base paths.
I would not be surprised to see Hinks square to bunt, but also you got to balance the fact that he's 2 for 3 in the game, seeing the ball really well lately. Do you risk the chance of him possibly grounding into an inning of a play, or test your luck with a bunt and see if Edwards can leg one out?
Lefty on lefty matchup. He squares, and it's a beauty down the third baseline. And unable to make the bare hand play is Jason Torres. That's going to be scored a hit regardless. Was going to be a tough play, but it drives the run home. It's a 4-run ball game here in the bottom of the 7th.
And when a runner ever gets on third base for this Tom Sox team, you got to know that the bunt is in play, whether it's the safety squeeze, bunting for the hit, suicide squeeze even. Every guy in this lineup can bunt the baseball, and we've seen it plenty of times tonight. Salvi Alvarez drives in a run on a bunt single. Now Connor Hinks drives in a run on a bunt single. It's not the prettiest way to win a baseball game, but whatever way you can get runs across the score, that's the way you have to stick with it.
Derek Williams, designated hitter, the 3-hole hitter, now up for the Tom Sox. He's 0 for 3 on the evening. Fielder's choice, couple of strikeouts. He takes a strike on the inner half with runners on first and second. And the Tom Sox with a run in already, 1 away in the bottom half of the 7th. This one is hit way up into center field. Not deep, though. Definitely not deep enough for any advancement, we don't think, as the runner bluffs as the catch is made 2 away. So the tough night for the designated hitter Derek Williams continues. And now it'll be up to Alex Boucher, the shortstop, who had a double his last time at the plate.
Also came around to score.
I should say he had a double 2 times ago at the plate. And he bats with 2 men on here, with his team up 5-1. That was the first run of the game for either team since the 4th inning. Tom Sox put up 3 in that one. With 2 outs, first and second, runner takes off from second, and there's going to be no throw down to third. They're going to try to get the snap throw back to first as Hinks dives back safely. So now runners on the corners again, and we'll see if that bunt's in play.
Probably not with 2 out, but anything's possible when that runner gets over to third base.
Or if we'll see the runner from first, Hinks, go now with a 2-0 count. Yeah, there he goes, and they're not even going to throw it down to second. That's defensive indifference there as the pitch is called a strike. So now 2 men in scoring position for the Tom Sox. A single would really make this lead pretty solid, as this one is hit on the ground to short, gobbled up, moving away from the bag by Perez, and the throw is high, and it gets past the first baseman. That's going to get 2 runs home as the Tom Sox widen the lead now to 7-1, and moving over to second base is Boucher, setting the table for Bryce Martinez.
Put the ball in play, and good things tend to happen, and that's exactly what Boucher did right there. A ground ball to the right of Perez. Really had to make a tough throw across his body, and you think that that's an easy scoop possibly over there at first base, but it's a really difficult play to make whenever the ball is that far away from the bag, and just couldn't get a good read on it. Did Barrett, and 2 runs come home to score. Second 3 spot of the game for Charlottesville.
That's a 3rd error of the ball game for Harrisonburg. They now have over half as many errors as they do hits. 5 hits in the ball game for the Turks as Martinez takes a strike. Martinez is out of Inglewood, Colorado. I wonder if he's a Denver Nuggets fan. They just had something fun happen to them. earlier this week.
Something called a championship.
We know about those here in Charlottesville. Tom Sox with 3 Valley Baseball League titles, including last season, sweeping the Woodstock River Bandits in the final series. 0-1 the count as the pickoff throw back to second, not in time. And Nikola Jokic showed up to the parade. What a guy.
And he enjoyed himself.
Time called now by Lyndon Coleman over to talk to his batter Martinez. Tom Sox with 3 in here in the bottom of the 7th. They lead 7-1 over the Harrisonburg Turks. Interesting to see the pitcher here, Kreibel, still just staying on the rubber, laser focused as this offensive timeout continues. Now our home plate umpire will walk over and break up the meeting. Wonder what they talk about there with 2 outs, 6-run lead, runner on second. And
might not even be more so just a pep talk to Martinez, more just trying to break up the rhythm of Kreibel here in the 7th. He's already given up 3 runs. Definitely getting a little anxious on the mound.
The kick, the delivery, lefty on righty, and that one is up and away for ball 1. Tom Sox also have a man throwing in the bullpen, so wonder if that might have just been a move to get him a couple extra throws here before
Also
a possible end
yeah.
of the inning. We call that the dance sometimes. 1-1 the count. That one catches the outer half, strike 2. Runner on second. Tom Sox 3 in here in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Slow roller up the line at third, and it goes foul.
Could have been another swinging bunt there for Martinez.
Martinez has been on base all 3 times tonight. He got hit by a pitch in the first inning, came around to score, and now he's got a pair of singles. Scored on his first single as well as part of that 3-run 4th. He plays collegiately at Wofford, teammate of David Wiley. Wofford, a program that's been very generous to the Tom Sox over the years. The 1-2. Strike 3 called over the inside corner, and tough pitch there for Martinez to take, but he goes down for the first time this evening. Tom Sox plate 3, however, aided by a Harrisonburg error and a couple of hits, and that'll do it for the 7th inning. To the 8th we go. Scoreboard looks a little better now. 7-1, Tom Sox in front. This is Tom Sox TV. Tom Sox with 3 in the bottom of the 7th. 7-1 now. They lead the Harrisonburg Turks here at CHO Airport Field. Luke Nedcarney, Nathan Schwartz bringing you this one as the Tom Sox go to the bullpen yet again. Davian Garcia, Tampa, Florida native. 6-foot right-hander, 188 pounds, out of Pasco Hernando Community College. And here in front of the home fans now, with the scoreboard looking a little bit better than it did in Front Royal when he last pitched. Kind of a fresh start chance here for Garcia.
Yeah, his first 2 appearances were really solid. But then the appearance on Sunday at Front Royal, a real rough one for Garcia. Only recorded 1 out, gave up 4 runs on just 1 hit, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. And his first 4 batters that he faced, Luke, a walk, hit by pitch, grand slam.
And he's got a tough act to follow because Mike Eggert, as you've got written down there, was lights out for the Tom Sox.
Yeah, 3 innings, only gives up 1 hit, a leadoff single to Micah Morgan in the 6th. Doesn't give up a run, no walked batters, and 2 strikeouts. Really dominant performance for Eggert, and a really good start in relief for this Tom Sox bullpen, who has had its struggles over the course of this season.
He faces the top of the Harrisonburg order to start. Aiden Alexander, the center fielder, who is 1 for 3 on the evening. Out of Oklahoma City University, he takes a strike over the outer half.
Garcia's going to chuck it in there. Mid-90s with the fastball. Hard slider as well.
A strikeout, a single, and a fly out to right for the man from El Reno, Oklahoma, hometown of Arkansas head football coach Sam Pittman. He faces a 1-0 count, and it's fouled back 0-2. Tom Sox scored 1 in the second. Turks answered with 1 in the third. It was tied to the bottom of the 4th, a 3 spot for the Tom Sox, another 3 spot in the bottom of the 2nd. The 0-2 coming from Garcia. That one's in the dirt for a ball.
Garcia isn't afraid to throw that off-speed 0-2 really anywhere in the count. And with such a violent movement, really hard to see it coming out of the hand.
The 1-2 coming. And it's a curveball for strike 3, swing and a miss. And a good start for Davian Garcia of the Tom Sox. I believe each pitcher has gotten their first out via the strikeout for the Tom Sox tonight.
Eggert, it was a ground out.
Ah, okay, there we go. He struck out so many batters that I was like,
Eggert's
it kind of runs
Eggert's
together.
first out of the 6th and the 7th
There we go.
were strikeouts. And Root's first out in the 1st and the 4th were strikeouts.
So 1 away, bases empty for the Turks here in the top of the 8th as Cam Harris sprays that one foul, and it gives his team a jolt in the dugout as it bounces against the fence there. Harris wearing number 10, Chipper Jones' old number. Facing an 0-1 count. And it's a 10-on-10 matchup. Garcia wearing number 10 as well, misses low and outside.
So 5 of the 8 innings so far, the first out of the inning, strikeout.
Really helps set the tone. Count even 1-1 with the bases empty and 1 away. Tom Sox up 7-1 here over Harrisonburg. That one misses inside, 2-1. As waiting on deck for the Turks is the dangerous Micah Morgan, who has extended his hit streak to 10 games here this evening. He's 2 for 3. You'd like to have him bat with nobody on base. 2-1 the count. Garcia rocks, fires. This one is hit on the ground to short. Couple of hops. Here's Boucher, and it's a perfect throw this time. He's had trouble with that tonight, but not there. Out number 2.
It's something about having to go quick with the baseball can really help you out. That actually was Kyle Edwards. As we have some defensive switches here. I believe the only change was that Boucher and Edwards flipped spots.
Ah, so Boucher is at third and Edwards is now at short. So still 6-3 all the same if you're scoring by number. 2 outs, nobody on, and now the 3-hole hitter for the Turks taking a strike to start is Morgan. Micah Morgan, a couple of singles tonight. Both of them to right field. The 0-1 is just outside.
Boucher actually made the move over to first base, and Hinks made the move to third. So a no changes lineup-wise, but Boucher at first, Edwards at short, Hinks now at third.
The 1-1 is down and in. And it's 2-1 here. Tom Sox up by 6 runs. Morgan out of the University of South Alabama, participants in the 2021 Gainesville Regional. We actually beat the top-seeded Florida Gators in an elimination game in that regional. 3-1 now the count as that one misses up and away from Garcia. Base is empty, 2 away. Here's the 3-1, and that is sprayed foul. Look out as that goes over the fence on the left side.
That slider's really been Garcia's go-to pitch. 2 strikes early in the count. That's been what's allowed him to put his strikes on the scoreboard.
If there were any runners on, they'd be getting a head start. 3-2, 2 away. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. So another perfect inning from Tom Sox pitching, and another horse collar goes up on the scoreboard for Harrisonburg. 7-1, Charlottesville in front in this ballgame, firmly in command as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. This is Tom Sox TV. New pitcher into the game for the Harrisonburg Turks, Benjamin Shinosky, a right-hander out of Lititz, Pennsylvania, and Wake Forest University, will look to set the Tom Sox down and keep the deficit at 6 for the Turks. Tom Sox up 7-1. Luke Nadkarni, Nathan Schwartz bringing you the action here from CHO Airport Field as David Wiley leads things off for the Tom Sox. He'll be the first faced by Shinosky, who not on the travel roster with his teammates in Omaha. First pitch swinging from Wiley. This is hit a mile in the air over short, but it's actually going to be the third baseman, Jason Torres, who comes over and makes the catch. So 1 pitch, 1 out.
Wake Forest definitely one of the top favorites in the College World Series this year. They've been so dominant, especially Rhett Lauder out on the mound. Going to be a top 10 draft pick for sure, leading that Wake Forest rotation.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm really interested to see how those boys hit the ball in that big ballpark out in Omaha, because the Couch in Winston-Salem is known very well as a hitter's park. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Deacons play their first game against Stanford as the first pitch misses outside to Brady Gumpf, who's had the Turks number tonight. Swings and fouls that one back right toward us. Thank goodness for the fences. That one is 1-1.
Yeah, that Charles Schwab Field really holds a lot of baseballs in. I was there a couple weeks ago for the Big Ten tournament with Maryland, and Maryland's second in the country in home runs this year, but only 3 homers over 4 games in Omaha.
1-1 Gumpf. Sounds like he breaks the bat. Hits it down to third. A couple of hops to Torres across the diamond. 5-3 for the out, and 2 quiet outs here for the Tom Sox here in the bottom of the 8th.
There's something so magical about that place. Even though it was the Big Ten tournament, you could feel just the energy and what that place can be like and how intense those games can get late in the game. And I'm really excited to see where this World Series goes and who makes it to that championship series next weekend.
A lot of the old magic from Rosenblatt Stadium just moved right on over. Really no loss of charm at that event with the stadium change. do miss the multicolored bleachers down there at Rosenblatt as the first pitch is outside to the catcher, Salvi Alvarez, who's had a really good night behind the plate tonight. The 1-0 to Alvarez is called a strike.
Yeah, it's been great defensively. RBI single on a bunt back in the fourth. Really just a steady force in the bottom of this Tom Sox lineup.
The 1-1 upstairs. And it's 2-1. Tom Sox up 7-1 here over the Harrisonburg Turks, looking for their second win over Harrisonburg in 3 meetings this season, as that one is golfed down the right field line, but it'll get foul.
And Tom Sox haven't even faced everybody in the league yet, and this being just game number 12, and already faced Harrisonburg now 3 times, including tonight.
Tom Sox will be right back here for Covington tomorrow, 7 o'clock start at CHO Airport Field. The 2-2 is hit on the ground to third, but that's going to hit off the bag. It's a fair ball. The runner didn't run, and it's going to be a routine play for Torres, 5-3. So that's their lesson there. Don't ever give up on the play, and Tom Sox lose a chance for a 2-out base runner after that bizarre play and the grounder going off the bag. So 1-2-3 go the Tom Sox here in the bottom of the 8th. They'll look to close things out. 7-1 is the lead as we go to the 9th. This is Tom Sox TV. To the 9th we go here at CHO Airport Field. Luke Ned Carney, Nathan Schwartz looking around this thing out with the Tom Sox here as Davian Garcia out for inning number 2. Looking to finish off the Harrisonburg Turks. And Nathan, it's kind of been a tale of each set of 3 innings. We were tied after 3 innings. Then the Tom Sox widened the lead a little bit in the 4th, and pitching was the name of the game in the middle innings. And then another 3 spot to open the 7th.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is the balanced approach for the Tom Sox that really just hasn't been there the past week or so, and just stacking runs back to back to back and not keeping your foot off of the gas pedal. That's really been what's allowed teams to come back against the Tom Sox. You look back at the game at Woodstock last week, up 10-1, game that finished 10-9. And even though the Tom Sox won that game, that was indicative and the start of what was a rough stretch for Charlottesville. Now it seems that after last night's win in Waynesboro and now seemingly just 3 more outs away from a second straight win, this is what's going to be this team starting to build some momentum getting into this middle stretch of the season.
Hunter Fansler is the pinch hitter for Jason Torres to start the top of the 9th here for the Turks. Fansler out of West Virginia Tech. He's a native of Beckley, West Virginia, way up in the mountains down there in the southern part of the state. He takes a strike. The 0-1 from Garcia. The windup. He fires, misses outside in the dirt.
Fansler 0-for-1 against the Tom Sox this season. Just going to be his 5th potential AB if he records an out or a hit here.
1-1 the count. First batter at the top of the 9th. Garcia delivers and catches the outer half for a strike. Tom Sox pitching has been pretty good tonight. A couple of errors in the field, but I think you got to be happy with this defensive performance all the way around. Garcia steps off and now retoes the rubber. And we have time called again. So was that a pit? So that was a pitch clock violation. I thought I heard the word time called. So now the count 2-2 as that'll count as a ball. The 2-2 pitch is fouled back. So that answers my question from earlier in the broadcast. We do have the pitch clock here in the Valley League.
Yeah, not the best words to yell time.
Right.
With a pitch clock violation, but I guess what else do you say? Just yell, clock.
Of course, time kept on the field here. We don't have a physical clock that counts up to 20 seconds as the 2-2 is downstairs 3-2.
And the stopwatch method.
Kind of like the back judge in football.
Yep. Just throw your arm out. 5, 4, 3.
The payoff pitch with the bases empty. Garcia fires. This one is on the ground. Good job there by Hinks, the first baseman, to keep it in front of him. Picks it up off the dirt and steps on the bag. 3 unassisted, and there's 1 out.
That's exactly what we had to do there. A body for Boucher over there at first base. Was playing shortstop earlier in the game. Thought he might have been at third, but he did move over to first base. And for a guy that didn't play a whole lot of that at school this year, fitting in nicely. Potential new lineup for Lyndon Coleman, wanting to keep Kyle Edwards defensively at shortstop and seeing the struggles that Boucher had at the shortstop position in the game, and with the defensive struggles for the season this year with the Tom Sox at first base, just trying a different lineup out, seeing what guys fit where, and this could be the way that the Tom Sox fit everybody into the lineup moving forward.
Ty Gill bats now for the Turks in the spot of Garrett Bradley, and he fouls that one back. It's 1-1 after taking a ball. Gill out of Purdue, native of Valparaiso, Indiana, batting from the left side, so a righty on lefty matchup. And the 1-1 is up and away. Ball 2.
Gill didn't appear in the first game between these two teams, but did appear in the game at James Madison. Went 0 for 2 with a walk in that matchup.
The 2-1 misses, and now 3-1. Turks looking for a base runner here. With Camden Hill on deck. Yeah. 3-1, swung on and missed. And 3-2 now the count. The 3-2, up and away, ball 4, and that'll get a 1-out base runner for the Turks with Camden Hill coming up. The pitcher turned designated hitter, it appears.
And that ends the streak of 10 in a row retired by the Tom Sox pitching staff. Eggert retired the last 6 he faced, and Garcia retired the first 4 he faced. So this is the first base runner for Harrisonburg since Micah Morgan's leadoff single in the top of the 6th.
Turks with just 5 hits here in this ball game. With 1 away, there's a runner on first, and the first pitch misses inside. Tom Sox have a couple guys just up and stirring in the bullpen, just in case. Nobody throwing at the moment. As it's a 7-1 ball game, 1 away here in the 9th. Hill out of Auburn, pitched an inning, remained in as the designated hitter, and the 1-0 misses upstairs. And Lyndon Coleman is out in front of the dugout, prepared to make a mound visit, I think, if necessary.
And this is his guy. Came from Pasco Hernando to Charlottesville together. And Davian's in the transfer portal, but you know Lyndon Coleman knows him better than anybody.
The 2-0 gets by the catcher, Alvarez, so a rare mistake by Salvi Alvarez that allows the runner to move down to second base. So scoring position now for the Turks, a 3-0 count, and I'm pretty confident that's a pass ball.
100%. Right out of the glove.
And I'd be shocked if we saw that happen at all the rest of the season from Salvi. Just popped right out of his mitt. The 3-0 now incoming from Garcia. He kicks. He fires a fastball, and that one misses up and in. So now back-to-back bases on balls, and wasting no time is Lyndon Coleman. He trots out to the mound. Well, I shouldn't even say trots. He is walking out to the mound. Looks like he's made the signal. So we are going to have a pitching change here for the Tom Sox in the top of the 9th. So it was a good start for the inning for the Tom Sox on a ground ball to first base, getting the first out of the inning, but 2 walks in a row now by Davian Garcia, and nobody's come out of the bullpen yet. But I thought I saw Coach Coleman kind of wave his hand.
He's gonna leave him in.
But maybe he didn't, so I stand corrected. We're not going to have a pitching change just yet. I think this is a smart move. 6-run lead. You kind of let your guy kind of hold his feet to the fire a little bit, make him work out of the jam here in the 9th. You know, if this were 7-3, 7-4, maybe you think about making a pitching change, but maybe not time for that yet.
You'll let him figure it out. Coming off a rough outing, only got the 1 out. Pitched really well to start this outing for him. Retired the first 4 and then back-to-back walks. You're facing bottom half of the lineup here.
Another pinch hitter for the Turks, Miles Hartsfield. Bats for Barnett. That first pitch over the outer half for a called strike. So Miles Hartsfield out of Gainesville, Georgia, plays at Georgia Southwestern State. Will get his first appearance of the night in a pinch hitting role with first and second, 1 out. The 0-1 is swung on and fouled back off the mask of Alvarez. It's 0-2. This would be a big second out here. Just looking in, going from the stretch is Davian Garcia. Well, small school on small school action, Georgia and Florida. From the letters. Kicks, fires way high, ball 1.
Seen Garcia get a little jumpy with that heater. Gone up and out with it, up straight away. Wanted to dial it in and throw that heater on the lower outer edge of the plate.
1-2 the count, 1 away. Top of the ninth, Tom Sox by 6 with 2 men on. Here for the Turks. The 1-2, strike 3 called, and whatever Lyndon Coleman said during that mound visit, he'll probably say it again next time because that was a beautiful looking pitch.
That slider, I've been saying it ever since he came into the game. That's going to be the pitch to look out for, and that's been the pitch he's used for those 2 strike counts, and he went right back to it, and now just 1 out away from ending this ball game.
Kind of uncanny how those mound visits just never fail to settle the pitcher down. It's almost like these coaches know what they're talking about. As we can see for Miles and Miles now, as after Miles Hartsfield, it's Miles Jamison pinch hitting now for the Turks.
It's actually going to be Tyler Borges, number 20.
Darn it, I saw 30. That 3 does look like a 2, so Tyler Borges negates my beautiful joke there and takes the ball downstairs.
The 5th hitter of the inning for the Turks and the 5th pinch hitter we've seen. Fansler replaced Jason Torres. Ty Gill replaced Ben Barrett. You had Cam Hill batting for the first time tonight in that DH spot. Garrett Bradley was pinch hit for by Miles Hartsfield, and now Borges pinch hitting for Delgado.
It's a 1-0 count, and that's an excuse me swing, and I don't know if that was tipped or just a strike by the catcher. The runner scooted down to third, but he's going to have to go back as that was indeed a foul ball. I thought so. Even the umpire was a little bit confused there. Took him a second to throw up the hands for the foul ball. It's 1-1.
I'll tell you what, Luke, if they somehow are able to mount a 6-run comeback with 2 outs, I don't know how they're going to field a team defensively in the bottom half of the 9th inning with all these new batters in the game.
Would be interesting to say the least. Let's hope we don't get to that point.
No.
1-1 the count with 2 away. That pitch right over the outer half for strike 2, and the Tom Sox 1 strike away.
Yeah. Just one more pitch and avoid that nightmare of a scenario.
First and second, 2 outs. Garcia leaning in from the stretch. Righty on righty matchup against Borges. He comes set. Kicks, fires, hit on the ground to third. Gobbled up by Hinks over to second. Stepping on the bag, Martinez. And you can put socks on this one. The Charlottesville Tom Sox win 7-1 over the Harrisonburg Turks, and they improve their record to 7-5, tying the Turks with the same record in the league standings.
And what a nice win for the Tom Sox. Got back to 500 after a 3-game losing streak, and then have come out the last 2 nights and really put a statement out on the field here in the Valley League. An 8-4 win last night, and now a 7-1, essentially a blowout win tonight guided by those 2 3-spot innings, and it's the small ball that's been continuing to work. You look back, RBI singles for Gumpf and Alvarez in that 4th inning, the leadoff double for Edwards in the 7th, that he scored on an RBI single for Hinks. That was a bunt single, and then taking advantage of the errors by the opposing team. That's been their way to victory so far this season, and expect that the rest of the way.
This game had a little bit of everything. Tom Sox out hit the Turks 9-5, couple of errors for each team in the field, but I think the difference here was pitching, especially relief pitching for the Tom Sox.
Absolutely. You look at Mike Eggert, 3 scoreless innings, only giving up the 1 hit, and then Davian Garcia, a little bit of trouble there in the 9th with the 2 walks, but he doesn't give up a hit. He strikes out 3 batters, and 5 scoreless innings for the relief pitchers, unheard of for the Tom Sox this season.
So our final line score one more time. The Tom Sox 7 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. The Harrisonburg Turks 1 run, 5 hits, and 2 errors. Tomorrow we'll be right back here at CHO Airport Field for the Covington Lumberjacks coming to town for the first time this season. Jacob Tisdale and I will have that one for you straight up at 7 o'clock. Tom Sox will be looking to win number 3 in a row. For Nathan Schwartz, my name is Luke Nadkarni. Our final score one more time. The Tom Sox 7, the Turks 1. We'll talk to you next.